everybody. Welcome back to our little week 4 conversation, chatty chat here with you. Amber Callahan, Chris Bergen, staying safe in our home offices. Mine looks a little green today. So we just wanted to get back to you, talk to you about some conditions in the market. We have some final numbers for the end of April to share with you, some things about foreclosures. We have a lot of very useful information. Please feel free to reach out to us, send us an email, message, leave us a message right here on YouTube if you are looking for specific questions. So let's just jump right in. Chris, you wanted to talk about some of our clients have been asking about forbearance.
Yep, just real quick. So we've gotten a few questions about what do we do? We're not working, money's tight. How do I pay my mortgage? So forbearance, call your service provider for your mortgage. Call your bank, whoever you're paying your monthly mortgage check to, call them and ask them about forbearance. Do that before you're delinquent. If you're delinquent and then you call and ask for forbearance, it's going to be much harder from what we're hearing. So before you get in trouble and get behind, call your bank or service provider for your mortgage and talk to them about forbearance. There's some myths out there that once your 3-month forbearance time period's up, that you'll owe all that right away plus the current month. That's not necessarily the case. So there are options out there. Call your bank, call your service provider, and ask for help.
Great. Yeah, I've had some clients talk to me too about, exactly. Are they going to have to pay it all when the forbearance is up? And their banks have been telling them that they've been able to put it on the back end. So that's kind of nice. Talk to your service provider because there's private loans, there's FHA loans, there's Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae backed loans, federally backed loans. So it depends pretty much.
Make the call.
Yes. Okay, so what are we seeing this past week in the marketplace? What kind of activity have you been running on? And I'll share some of mine.
It's the Wild West. That's the best scenario, best synopsis, the Wild West. Multiple offers every time we turn the corner and write an offer for a buyer, we're in multiple offers. I mean, our last 3 that we personally wrote, multiple offers.
Multiple offers, yes. Over asking for some of them, the ones that I've written. So, it's still happening. I mean, buyers are like, we can maybe sneak in. And no. Why would you say the biggest reason, and we'll get to this a little bit more in depth later, is inventory.
Inventory so tight. It's community by community, but when you look at the big picture, inventory is down significantly. Yeah,
so I know that I was doing some showings on some properties in Westlake, and a few of them had been on the market for a little bit of time. And I guess, it's important if you're looking to list your property, you're going to sell, but you have to be realistic.
Right.
If you're, move-in ready, looks great, and it's in a hot market, you're going to have multiple offers, but if it's not, then what would you say to that, Chris?
Be prepared to be on the market for a little bit longer.
But even the challenging homes that need some work or maybe are in a less desirable area or have fewer buyers searching, do you feel like they're still selling, or
buyer activities out there? They are selling. I mean, even the one we've had listed that will remain anonymous that sat for a while is under contract and had a clean inspection. So, but that's, been on the market for a while. So there are buyers out there in all price points. It's just a matter of finding the right buyer and the right fit.
Yeah. So don't hesitate to get on the market. And what about, getting out there with the COVID-19 restrictions, wearing masks? Have you had any issues with touring properties or getting in?
No issues at all, other than if it's a hot property when it first comes on the market. If you delay in setting up your appointment, you might have to wait a day to get in. Since we're only allowing, one buyer with their agent in per showing time period, which usually now is a 30-minute window, you might have to wait. There's been a few properties that hit the market, and by the time my client, asks to see it, and we log in for the showing service to schedule that appointment, you can see literally that the entire day has already been booked solid, and you've got to wait. So you can, assuming an hour to 30 minutes for a showing, that's a lot of folks going in.
It is.
Day one.
It is.
And there's no.
So we definitely are encouraging our clients. I mean,
Right
wear your mask.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Gloves, sanity.
Yeah. So I've been getting to my appointments about 10 minutes early. And I've mastered one glove per showing. I can open the lockbox with one hand, but I'll get in, make sure the doors are open, the lights are open, the cabinets are open, closet doors, so nobody has to touch anything. And
I've been doing some, using some of our apps and sending sheets and information sheets about the properties digitally rather than printing them off and handing them to our clients too.
So it's working.
But as far as we know, what we've been told by our local MLS is if your house is listed, you do have to allow showings, correct?
It's on the market. It has to be showable.
Okay.
Period.
Great. So, I mean, give us the quick update. We ended April. Where are we at?
Well, today's May 1st, so April's officially closed. So, if you remember a podcast or two ago, we talked about Cuyahoga County, and then we broke down to a couple cities. So Cuyahoga County, really quick, looking at all of March and April together in 2019 compared to March and April now for 2020, sales were only down this year by 72 units for all of Cuyahoga County. So 72 less homes sold. 2191 sold last spring, 2119 this spring. Not bad.
Okay,
only
not bad.
72 considering.
Yeah.
Average sales price in the county jumped from 178,000 to 195,000.
That's a nice increase.
Nice little increase for the whole county. The percentage, the sales price to the original list price went from 96% to 96.9. So a slight uptick there. The biggest issue is inventory's down by about 1,000 homes in the county. Inventory. So when seller confidence comes back, so is it a confidence in that you're going to get your price? Not necessarily. We're getting 96.9% of list price. So it's a confidence of, do you want people in your home? Where are you at with that? So if we break it down to Lakewood, 2019, spring of 2019 in Lakewood, 79 sales. We had 74 this spring. We're only down 5.
That's pretty good.
Average sales price went from 221 up to 236. So again, a nice uptick in sales prices.
Yeah.
Went from 98.8% of list price to 99.0. So again, a nice uptick there. Inventory is only off 6 homes. We had 76 on the market last March and April. We have 70 this March and April. But the real number when we take those contingent properties out there. So remember when we're tracking
the available homes. What are the real available homes?
51 homes this morning in Lakewood, single family homes. It's not enough.
No, it's low. That's very low.
If you remember back in 2008, we had roughly 350 homes for sale. We have 50, 300 homes different from the recession to now. We need to get this back up to 80, 90 homes for sale to not even necessarily balance the market out, just to increase the number of sales, period. The demand is there.
Right. So the demand is there. When, people are concerned about buying or maybe waiting for this buyer's market, what is, like for Lakewood, for example, what is a buyer's market in Lakewood? Like what numbers would you say?
Gosh, well, 350.
Yeah, that was a buyer's market.
Buyers had choices.
If you bought at that time,
buyers would buy, and buyers wouldn't wait for an answer. If you didn't like their offer, they moved to the next home. No, we don't need 350 homes, but we need 80, 90, 100 homes for sale in Lakewood just to keep everything moving.
A balanced market.
If we're around 100 to 120, then it's fair. It's a fair market.
So do you still think, though, this is a license for sellers to list their houses at the tippy top of what they think?
A reasonable price. No, it needs to be a realistic price, and they're going to get nearly to the dollar what they're asking. Anything that's overpriced. You can look at the inventory now. The 51 homes on the market now, 4 of them, I believe, were listed today. So the others have been sitting. So they do need a price adjustment based on condition and location.
Right.
And then they'll sell because the demand is there.
We haven't said it enough. Anybody looking to list their house with us or anyone, just get it on the market.
Inventory's key. We need more.
Yeah, we do. So, where do you think, now that we're kind of a couple months in, I know my kids have been home since, before St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
where do you think the real estate market is going? I mean, where do you think we're
Amber,
headed?
thanks for
Property values.
Thanks for asking.
I know you've been itching to answer that one.
I wish we can predict the future. We can't.
I know.
But the more we know about everybody's individual circumstances, do they need to buy? Do they want to buy? Do they have to sell? Would they like to sell? Once we know more about each individual circumstance, we can kind of paint a picture for them and help answer their questions and relieve some of their fears they might have. The reality is the market's moving. People are buying. Mm-hmm. Money's very affordable. Affordability is high with the interest rates as low as they are, even with the average sales prices increasing. So the other day I listened to a podcast from Lawrence Yun, who's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, for NAR. The biggest concern nationally is that, and again, this is the national picture,
right,
is that even if we have a third and fourth quarter surge in sales across the country, it may not be enough to make up for the lost sales of units this spring during the second quarter. So we'll see. Locally, we're on at least par with last year. So we'll see if that can continue or not. With 51 homes in Lakewood and with 1,000 less homes in all of Cuyahoga County, it's going to be tough to match the number of sales from last year, but it's still doable. So doesn't look like locally we've been hit as hard
right,
with sales dropping off. Buyer traffic is definitely up. It looks like from the statistics and the surveys they've had nationally, they're fully projecting 2021 to be a good and stable market for real estate. It sounds like 70% of the sellers or more are calm sellers. They're not in panic mode. They're not slashing their prices to get their home sold. Price reasonably, they're selling. The pent-up demand is there, especially amongst that 25 to 35-year-old crowd. The millennials are the largest purchasing entity in the country.
Yeah.
So, we just have to make sure that we've got good solid jobs, income's there, debt ratio, all that fun lending stuff is in place.
And are you seeing any changes in lending credentials? I mean, are credit scores?
The biggest change going forward is that some lenders, not all lenders, but some lenders are already started to change their minimum requirements on credit scores. So, what you may have been able to qualify for months ago with a 640 credit score, now that same lender might say it's 680. So you're going to have to shop around. You're going to have to talk to multiple lenders, not just who you bank with.
Right.
Ask your favorite realtor who their 2 or 3 trusted lenders are, have those conversations. The other change is going to be, you might see where you used to qualify for a 3% down conventional. Now the lender might say, you know what, we're not even doing those anymore. It's going to be 10% minimum, maybe 20%. So we're going to tighten that requirement a little bit until everybody's comfortable with where the economy's at and the unemployment numbers start to drop and more people are back to work. It's nowhere near there's no comparison at all to the crash of 08. Zero comparison. Right. The crash of 08, real estate and the economy together they were together with that crash. They were both equally responsible. Right now, the economy was doing fine until the shutdown, and then we intentionally turned off the economy. So the pent-up demand for real estate's there. The lending standards have been so tight that the delinquency rates at the time, the foreclosure rates at the time were at historical lows. So
right, we are, and it's so different than 2008 and 2009. Homeowners have equity. I mean, they didn't have equity then. They were overextended. You could get a home equity loan for up to 125% of your value.
No documents, no anything, no verification of employment, and the homeowner didn't reinvest it in their home. They bought TVs and boats and vacations and everything.
Paid off credit cards, things like that. So I mean, it's
equity under current home ownership. So the reality is the demand is there, and as long as folks can qualify for the loan, they want to purchase.
Right.
We just need more of the to purchase.
So call us. Let us help you with your little projects that you're doing around the house right now, as far as advice on what you should be doing to get ready if you're looking to sell. And if you're looking to buy, that's the thing I want to talk to too really quick is buyers. Don't be afraid. It is tight. It's a little more scarce, but it doesn't mean you can't get a house. I mean, we just have to go through the process a little bit longer. You have to hone in on what you really want, so that way when you see it, you can act on it,
Right.
and we can get you a house. It's still very where you want it. It's very possible. So, I guess some of the things I wanted to talk about next week, so just a little, heads up for that, there is some legislation in the state of Ohio going through the Senate right now. And it's for first-time home buyers, or it's a home buyer savings plan, like the college savings plan.
Right.
Very similar, but it is for down payment. So, you can basically save a down payment up to $50,000 for a single, or $100,000 for a couple, tax-free. So,
Perfect.
just some legislation I'm going to touch on a little bit at our next discussion. We can talk about a few other things in the market that's happening. We're staying very engaged on what's going on locally and nationally. But I mean, locally, Cleveland is...
The numbers don't look bad at all. The numbers look good for the sellers and the buyers. We just need more inventory. Broken record, more inventory. But next week will be a good test. We're really into the spring market. We're into May now, so we'll let you know what the inventory looks in various communities next week, and we'll see if seller confidence in listing is increasing or decreasing or staying the same.
Yep. All right, I think that's all we have for this week. Hope we didn't keep you too long. Thanks for listening to us. Let us know if you have any questions about the market in general, about things like if you're looking to sell but you're not sure if you can buy unless you sell. We have answers to all those questions. So please reach out, share with your friends, and so we can get the word out. And everybody have a great weekend and enjoy the upcoming sunshine we have coming up.
Excellent.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.